This is part 1 of the Web Content Management Detail video. In this video, we are just going to cover the Edit Web Page panels, and in part 2, we'll cover the rest of the Web Content Management tools. The reason for that is that this is probably one of the more complicated elements of the web content management tools of LotSoft, although once you understand it, you will see it's quite simple. So if we click here, you will see we're automatically placed into the change mode, and we have a load button which we'll get to in just a moment. And then if you look down here, you will see that there are all the web pages that were listed if you looked at the demo on the left hand side. So there's the home, newsletters, block watch, current board, rules and regulations, trash, about, and contact us. On the right hand side is the panels. So as mentioned before, each of the pages are made up of 3 panels. So the home page is made up of 3 panels. So if we go back to our tools and we selected home page and say panel 1, and since we're in a change mode, we'd load, and we're going to see that text pop up here. The only thing you're not going to see is the registered property image, and that's because that is placed in by default. So we go back to our tool. If we were to look at panel 2, hit load, then go back, you can see where we just had a couple of statements. And lastly, here is panel 3. If we jump over here, look at panel 3, load, and you'll see there's that information along with some hyperlinks that we placed in there as well, jumping to the fire station, the local police station. So that's basically how you would edit each one of the web pages, is by selecting first the web page and then the panel, and then loading that panel, making that adjustment, and then saving that. Just to show you how quickly that occurs, let's go back to panel 1, load it, and let's just put a quick piece of quick period there, save it, and boom, it's updated. If we come back here, refresh, we can quickly see where the period was added. So if we go back now and reload that and remove it, save it again very quickly, refresh, and now the period is gone. So you can see how quickly the updates do take place. The next thing is if we drop down our insert data fields, these are fields that can be dynamically placed into any web page and any panel. And that means in this case your association name, address, city, state, zip would all get pulled from when you created your association in the beginning, and any of these pieces of information can be placed directly into the web page. Well, what does that mean? That means that if you change the name, then automatically that would affect that web page and whatever panel you happen to place that in, and we'll see that on some of the other pages when we pull those up. And down here you can see there's some block watch information. It says 1 item per panel, meaning that on panel 1 you could only pick one of these items to be placed there. In this case, it would show who all the captains and what area they've been assigned to. The captain and the contact information and the area. Captain and just the contact information, or lastly, just the area and the description could be placed on one of the panels. And on the right, you can see where we can insert attachments. So if we uploaded a document and we assigned it as an association newsletter, then it would automatically show up into that panel if you happen to place it into panel 1. Again, we'll see that in just a moment. So now we get down into some of the rich text tools. You can put all kinds of text down, select up to, I think there's about 10 different fonts, size it, fancy it up with some of these little tools here, and you can also let's just close that out, change the color of your font, the background of it, cut, paste, and oh, there's your paste there, and your copy, or cut it away. You can actually insert a table if you want to. So if you do that, you click on that, it's going to ask you how many rows and columns, if you want to pad your table, how wide you want your table to be, if you want borders, and how they will be shaded. So you have a lot of control over that, so you can place a lot of different things within that table. One of the other things is you can insert images as well, and as you can see, it quickly pops this up, and you would put the image name here. The trick is that you would first have to upload that image to the system. Let's jump back here under upload attachments, and then we would say that we were uploading an image. So we'll head back to edit the web page. So once you had that uploaded, then of course you would put that name of whatever you named it there, and put a border around it if you wanted to, and some spacing if you wanted to as well. The next thing is you could create a hyperlink. So we might call this fire station. Whoops. Fire station, and highlight it, and then click on the create link, and then we would type in what the web page would be. In this case, we'll just type test and submit, and then you can see it becomes a hyperlink. And if you wanted to see that, you could click on this button here where it says view source, and there you could actually see the source. One very important point here is that you must always save your changes in the HTML mode. If you save it in the text mode, then that's basically what's going to be saved, and that's what you're going to see. So very important that you always are in the HTML mode in order for you to then save that update. I failed to mention there's other things you can do. Is you can justify your text and put some bullets and unordered list, and indent, outdent, and indent here. So a lot of nice little tools can go on there. So let's go back and look at the newsletter web page and panel 1, and let's load that. And we can see we have some text here, and then we see this funny bracket where it says association newsletters. That's where we had picked association newsletters and added that to this web page panel. And then another little note. So what would happen is every time we uploaded a document that was classified as an association newsletter, we'll go back over here, upload document, and if we picked association newsletter, then that would automatically, and we have to load that again, panel 1, no problem, happened so quickly. Each time we did that upload, it would then add that newsletter automatically there without making any other changes. Very nice dynamic feature of LotSoftX. And so if we look down the block watch and we load panel 1 on block watch, we can see where we've set areas currently covered under the, and there's the association block, and we pick that as the name, and that's what it placed there, so the system knows it wants the association block watch name there. Actually, that was block watch program name here. And then we picked the block areas, in this case was areas and descriptions. So what would happen if you made any changes to those areas, again, it would automatically be updated to that web page. Just that simple. Rules and regulations, same thing here. We'll look at panel 1. Here we named it rules and regulations, and we inserted rules and regulations as the attachments. So each time we uploaded a document, we classified that document as rules and regulations. It would then place that a link dynamically into this web page panel. So the ideal behind this is that it's very dynamic. Once you construct your website, then basically all you're doing is uploading documents and possibly making changes to, let's go back to the home page here and load, and making changes to some simple text to notify your lot owners of upcoming things that are going on or whatever. But it can be done so easily, as we showed you earlier just a moment ago. So it happens very, very, very quickly. So this is one of the more complicated pieces of it. Again, once you understand this, you can see just how easy it is for you to update the web pages and each one of the 3 panels within the web page, and how dynamic it is by being able to insert data that, if it changes, automatically changes. So in this case, let's go down here and look at, let's see, where was that? Under current board, panel 1, load that, and we can see where we added board members position, and that's where we picked here, and it'll plug that in. So what that means is anytime we reassign an individual to a board position, then it's automatically going to reflect here without any other changes to the web page panel. So again, it happens very quickly, it's very dynamic, and you have access to all these rich text tools as well, and you can insert any of these attachments as well. I do want to make one other note. If you start playing with images here and you upload images and then of course submit that and add that to your one of your panels, it's very important that you size those images appropriately. If someone was to take a picture, let's say with a 5 megapixel camera, and they took that image without trying to resize it, and they uploaded it and then tried to place it in one of these panels, it will cause the web page to look very odd to have such a large picture in place, because LotSoft does not try to resize any images that are loaded. That responsibility is left up to the HOA board member that is uploading that image. So that's basically how you do an add web page panels within the LotSoftX software.